and welcome to the Direct Selling Success Podcast. I'm Anna Green, and I'm here to share with you tips, tricks, and training on network marketing done right. Thank you for listening. Please give a big warm welcome to Jess. Jess is joining me on my podcast today. She's waving at everybody, but we're on audio.
Hello, everyone.
It's so force of habit,
Force
isn't
of
it?
habit. And you did wave at me as well.
I know, that's what I mean. It's just force of habit, isn't it? Every time I go on a Facebook Live, I always do the hey with my hands and waving them everywhere. It's just, what I do, isn't it? So welcome, Jess. Welcome to the podcast. We're here to chat all things direct sales and Jess Davies business. Jess, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? What I do? Well, that is a very, very lengthy question, isn't it? Well, I am Jess. I have been in network marketing for over 7 years. So I first started with the Body Shop at Home, and then January came along. Life happened, had to change. Their business model changed. So I have gone into the world of Tropic, which has very similar values to the Body Shop. And I think it is very much to what Anita would have wanted Body Shop to have done if she's still alive and still kept control of the company, because obviously she lost control of it anyway. So I do this alongside a full-time job, which is quite a demanding full-time job. So I travel throughout the UK doing various care shows because I do work in sales, and I'm here, there and everywhere, but I predominantly work from home, which does make it a bit easier from the day to day. So I do things like this on my lunch break.
Yes, I love it. Fitting everything in. A busy life.
My life.
So what made you start up in direct sales then?
So when did I actually start? It was like 2016. I needed something to do. I was very closed up with myself. So I was struggling quite a lot mentally and struggling with going outside, talking to people. So I needed something, and I love skincare. I love body care and that line. So it made sense to try and do that just to get myself to get back into talking to new people again and talking and building that confidence, self-esteem up again, because I knew that's something I could do. So when I first joined, it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about even growing a business. It was literally to give myself something to do and to make new friends and get free products, because who doesn't like a freebie?
Oh, absolutely. And there's so many people when you're recruiting, and I know back when I did the business as well, when you're recruiting, you talk to people and say, oh, I can't do this because I'm so shy and I don't like talking to people, or I don't have the confidence to put myself out there. You were that person.
I was that person, and I didn't actually recruit until I'd been doing it for about 3 years. Because I was always that person was like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't do a team. So I don't have enough time because I work full time. It was that old chestnut. And then I realized to myself, is like, actually, I have a lot of knowledge to share, and I have that time management skills. So I work very well with people that are working full time or doing a lot of things along at the same time, and it does actually even further help your confidence when you do then build a team, because you then can spread ideas with each other, and you do grow in your self-belief as well.
Yeah. So talking of fitting it all in, how on earth do you fit it all in?
It's one of those things I wonder myself. I work a month in advance in terms of what I want to do. So at the start of June, I essentially planned out July, and I've done a full schedule of what I want to do. And actually, I've gone a bit further because I've planned up till Christmas. Like, I've planned up to about September because I want to massively grow my business. So I need to know how to do that, because I'm starting from scratch, essentially. So I've been working on my mindset mostly since I've done January. So now I'm looking to the next stage. So I have my planner. I have my own content planner, and then I use your planner, Anna, of the 365 days, just to help make sure that I have a bit of a routine, and I make sure everything is scheduled in. If it's not in my diary, it's not happening.
I know what you mean with that one. If it's not in my diary, it's not happening. I put everything meticulously in my diary. And I don't know about you, but if I want to attend a meeting, it goes in my diary. If I want to do an hour of admin, it has to go in my diary or I'll fill it with something else.
Exactly. And if I want to make sure I follow up with customers, again, in my diary.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think, but it's a hard routine to get into if you're not naturally like that, do you find? Or are you naturally like that anyway with life in general?
I'm naturally quite an organized person, but it is about getting that routine every day. So the daily method of like the DMOs that everyone talks about is the best way to keep organized, to make sure that because I'm completely online, so I consistently create content every single day. If I didn't do that, then I would struggle.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
keeping that
work.
habit. Yeah. Yeah. So daily methods of operation then. So what are in your daily methods of operation to ensure that your business grows?
So I have recently found a little life hack that I've started to do. So I want to do at least 5 bits of content creation a day, whether it's a photo or a video. I use my stories religiously. My stories are like my vlog, my life. And then it hit me, I can download that story and then bam, I've got myself a reel. I've got myself a short. I can create anything. I've got the photos. So I reuse what I have there, and I take photos just of like using products when I'm out and about, just to create this bulk. So I'm rebuilding as well. So
Mm.
before, when I had my business for the length I had, I didn't need to necessarily do that. But because I'm essentially creating that content from scratch, once I've gone through all the seasons with Tropic, it'll be a lot easier unless they do package changes. So the creating the content is the main part because that's how my business works. But I'm also doing the delightful scrolling, interacting with my desired people, making new friends, and following up with people as much as I can. But my inbox is not my friend most of the time. That is the hardest thing to keep up on. So I have set times and I'm really strict on when I stop. So I do not talk to people after 9 p.m.
Yeah, I think boundaries are really important, especially now you are starting from the beginning again. Setting good habits and good routines in place is key. I remember back in the day, I didn't have boundaries. I didn't
Yeah.
think about boundaries because I just wanted to be successful and I wanted to look after my team. And if a customer messaged me at whatever time, I would reply. And I created a rod for my own back. So you having that discipline, I really do envy. I really do. It's fantastic.
Well, I think you got to look from the positives as well of what of like having the business taken away. So I'm forced to start from scratch. So I can start with the best possible standards to carry on and get those habits straight away. Whereas when I started network marketing in general, I was like a little lost lamb. I didn't know what I was doing. So now I know what I'm doing. I just have to do it. And it is sort of a gift in a way because I'm starting from knowing what I'm doing and I can develop on that, because learning is the hardest part of what we do sometimes, like learning that strategy, what works for you, because what works for me may not work for someone else. Like yourself, Annie, you like to wing it sometimes, as you
Yeah.
say,
Oh yeah.
and whereas I don't do that. I have a
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah. Yeah. You are and me are very different in the way that we work. Very different.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think it's important to embrace our strengths. So I love to do things ad hoc and on at the spur of the moment and put on something new, and but I have a plan. I know exactly
Yeah.
where I'm going and what I'm doing and how I'm going to get there. It's just sometimes I like to be a bit creative with stuff and last minute and whatever. Whereas if I asked you to be last minute,
I can do that with ideas for videos though.
yeah,
Sometimes I get them in the middle of the night and I have myself a little notes section on my phone where I write down those ideas that I get at the random points, and I can do it there and then still. Sometimes I'm like, I have to do this right now. Stop what I'm doing. I have to go. I have to, like, I've woken up at like 5 a.m. like I've had a great idea. And because I'm a morning person. So I wake up at 5 and in theory I should just be relaxing, getting ready for my day. But sometimes I have a video idea. I'm like, I'm gonna do it now.
yeah,
So
why
I'm
not?
just gonna do it now. Got time, fit it
Yeah.
in where I can.
And it works for you. And
It
I love
works.
that. I love that. Yeah. So I know that you run your entire business through social media.
Yeah.
Um, how long have you been running it solely on social media? Always?
Birth.
Birth.
But I have done parties.
Yeah.
I have done stalls, parties, those sort of things. The main issues I have with doing that is that because I can get quite severe migraines, I I can't always be that reliable. So if I book something and then I'm not well, I just feel really bad letting people down. So I will do them. I do really enjoy doing parties. It's just a case of like the time that I have and the fact that I don't necessarily feel well all the time. So
Mm.
it's a bit hit and miss. And I really enjoy content creation. So this is the time that I'm creative. I can't be that creative in my actual day job. So this is when I get to really go wild and get a bit carried away. Some
You
may
don't
say,
get carried away, Jess.
no, never. No, I don't never get carried away at Christmas, do I?
Oh no, not at all. I love your content at Christmas.
Will he be back this year? It's hard to say. So
Oh, you have to tell everyone about him.
for those who don't know me, I had an elf called Brian, Brian the Body Shop elf, who would travel the world and do various things with Body Shop products. And he would go to events, he would go to the conferences. He had a great time, and I had a great time with him as well. So he might come back, but at the moment, he's finding himself.
Bless him.
He's
Do you
finding
think he'll
himself.
be a Tropic fan? Is he a Tropic fan now?
He's traveling through the tropics, Anna. He is getting a lay of the land. He's he's getting himself a deck chair and he's enjoying the organic products.
Good, good. I like it. So, what is it about content creation that you love then?
I like the flexibility that you have with it. You can do whatever you want, and it's quite scary putting it out. So I have a YouTube channel, and the only reason that I have that channel is because I wanted to create videos to upload to my group because I didn't have the time to do the lives at a reasonable hour because I used to get on a train to go to work at 6:30 pre-COVID, and I'd get home at 7, so I didn't have much time in the day. And YouTube, it was the way that I could upload a video that was over 15 minutes. So that's purely why it was there. I didn't think people would find it. That wasn't someone that I directed to it, and I was wrong. So people found it and it spiraled. That's how I started recruiting people. It's purely like fluke that it happened on there. And
Is it? Is it?
well, it's not now, but it was then. Because I didn't know anything. I didn't know how you get people to see things on YouTube. And it just sort of had fun. But you can have so much fun with it. And at the end of the day, unless you repost something or reshare something, that content has like a time period in theory. So if you don't like your video, it's fine.
Yeah.
People won't see it in like 6 months' time. They might, but they probably won't, especially if it's on TikTok. On YouTube, more likely they will, but TikTok, it's very fast-paced moving. So if you're not happy with how your videos are, it doesn't matter. You just progress, carry on, take on board what you've got, what you don't like, and do something about it.
So, how do you get around the mindset behind that then? Because I know a lot of people that will be listening to this are terrified of putting themselves out on social media and don't know what sort of content to create and how to go about even, showing up online.
Do you want to know my secret, Anna?
Yeah. And everyone else does too.
My mindset for putting things out on social media is that I think no one's going to watch it, so it doesn't matter.
Really?
I'm like, it doesn't matter. They're not real people. It's like a weird sort of like they're not real people, you know. They're just out and about.
I
People aren't going
suppose
to
that's
watch.
different.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
don't care. It's like I'm just one small little cog in the chain of events, and if people do try and troll, which happens,
Yeah, yeah, it
I,
does. Yeah.
it's their problem. It's not mine. they're unhappy with whatever's going on in their own lives, and they're trying to get some sort of clout or some sort of like joy out of being mean to a random person they've just come across. It's no big deal, just crack on. But what's good and what I really like is when I do my more lifestyle videos, so like vlogs or things like that, is then I can then go back on it and watch it myself. So it's for me as much as it is for other people. It's creating stories. And when it's my old content promoting a product, I can then see the massive difference I've had compared to when I was like 22 or however old I was when I joined to now. Like you can see so much difference, not just age and like hair color, but you can see like confidence, how I'm speaking, how I'm holding myself. And it's really nice just to see your progression through the years.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
ultimately, I forget that people actually do watch it sometimes. So when people mention it, I'm like, oh yeah, you do watch.
But this is okay when you're out there putting it on YouTube or TikTok and you've not got all your friends and family watching. So Facebook, if you've had a Facebook account for years and you're starting a business or you're wanting to run a business through that platform where
Yeah.
all your past is there, that's very different. You can't do that same mindset thing.
I did have that fear about like the old school friends.
Yeah.
Like, what will they think? What would they say? And then I just sort of thought it's like, I don't care. I don't talk to them now. I don't care what they think. Like if they're the old like the old people from the past, not a problem. They probably won't see it anyway because it's not directed for them. Like it's not their out. Like the Facebook algorithms are very good at getting people to see it who want to see it. So they don't see it, the people that don't care. And also, like, what are they gonna do? They don't make my money.
Very true. It's a good attitude to have.
They aren't paying for my spa days. I've got a very expensive addiction to spas. I have to pay for that. Like it's their problem. If they have an issue with it, they're not my target audience. And that's what I've gotten from you, Anna, from the past year or so of
Yeah.
your teachings.
So way back, you were telling us way back at the beginning, you had very little confidence and you couldn't speak to people and you
Yeah.
started this industry because of that. How did you go from that to not caring about who saw you online and what happened?
I think I listened to I don't know, it was a podcast as well. So years ago, I watched loads of YouTube. It's like Mel Robbins, Love, um, Tony, someone. They're like various people. And someone said to me, it's like no one cares about what you're doing as much as you do, or
Yeah.
is thinking about you as much as you think they are thinking about you. So when I sort of had that realization, I was like, well, it's probably true. So why should I let a thought of what someone else is thinking about me stop me from doing what I enjoy doing?
Yeah, very true. And it is quite right because we all live in our own little worlds, in our own little heads. We are the center of our attention,
Yeah.
and everybody else, in theory, should feel the same about us, but they don't because they're in their own little worlds with their own little problems in their little bubble, thinking exactly the same thing. So, yeah, and I think when we start to realize that actually people will listen if they want to, people will watch if they want to, as long as we're putting out content that's valuable to them, whether that is on or offline, then they're going to watch. And
Yeah.
if they want it, they'll come. If they don't, they won't. And you'll be another little speck in that whole sea of other things going on in their lives that they pay no attention to.
And you'll also find that your biggest supporter is going to be a stranger,
Yeah,
someone who then becomes a customer. They'll become your biggest supporter over someone that you've known for years or your family. And
yeah,
that's okay. They're your target people.
yeah. Too right. Very wise.
Thank you.
So I know because we've been working together quite some time now that you are very unique, Jess, in a good way.
Okay.
And I know for a fact that so many people in this industry are taught to do things a certain way. They're taught to go out and party. They're taught to put the company content out there and, start a Facebook group and post the offers and go and speak to all your friends and family and tell them to join and, all these sort of things. And I know you've done it a completely different way and had huge success with it.
Yeah.
So how's that been?
It was quite challenging, like pre-COVID, especially,
I bet.
to
Yeah.
be just social media, because people are like, no, you have to party. You have to do events. It's the only way you can run a business like this. You need to do all of those things. Whereas I was like, no, I don't. I thought I was like, there's lots of influence. So how I run it is more like influencer type
Yeah.
marketing. Once you make that sort of connection, it makes a lot more sense how people that are just online work. So when you do it that way, it's like, but there's loads of people there. Like you've got the likes of some massive influencers who've built up empires
Mm.
just from talk. Like look at Mrs. Hinch. She's
Yeah.
built up like a multi-million-pound business just from talking about cleaning products. And if she could do that, why can't any of us do that about our own favourite area? So makeup or skincare or maybe clean products, because there are cleaning companies out there. Why
Yeah.
can't we do that as well? And we can do it in a different way because we're being very transparent about how people, when they order from us, so we do make money from it. So that is a key differentiation between that and whether or not you can recruit as well, grow a team.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is very different. And then it was quite interesting when COVID came along, because the people that were solidly partying, they were then asking me for training and advice to how to go online because they didn't do it already. But now we have the flexibility where you can do events, you can go out partying, you can be online. And the most important thing is to remember to be authentic to yourself. What do you want to do? Don't do something just because you're told it is the way you have to run your business. There's the beauty of network marketing is you can run it how you want. That's why a lot of people join it. So if you want to just do events and just do like parties and things, do that. Just have it so you do have some content online, but don't put the effort into it that I do, because people know you don't want to do it.
Yeah. And you
They
won't
can
stay
see
consistent at it either.
exactly. And it's about posting uniquely to yourself. And if you're not enjoying it, you won't write your own posts. You won't create your own content. So it becomes a bit, you look more like a robot when you just copy
Yeah.
company content.
And it doesn't stand out from anybody else. And it's not what your
Yeah.
audience want either, which is, and I mean, the company content and the company text and things like that is a great starting point.
Yeah.
But honestly, you won't get seen showing all that and just that. You just don't, do you?
And
No.
it just looks like an advert that's been sponsored by the company as well, especially if
Mm.
everyone's doing it. So if it's the same post, it all bulks up together as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's
it does.
things you can do to
Give us some tips.
some tips for what the
Things that you
content
can do. Yeah, things you can
things
do.
that you
Yeah.
can do. Well, remember that you can take, so when you think of like a photo, it doesn't necessarily even have to be with yourself, like in the frame.
Yeah.
So a tip that we learned from
Oh,
last
Kimmy
week.
Watson. Kimmy Watson did us
Kimmy
a
Watson,
talk, didn't
yeah.
she? Yes, we'll shout her out. Kimmy Watson,
Kimmy
super
Watson, it
decent
was
photographer.
fabulous. She needs to do her own training course.
She does. Keep telling her.
So a lot of it I already did, but the main takeaway I got from that was actually putting the grid up on my photos so it's angled better. And the reason I didn't do it before is because I didn't really like seeing the lines. It just made my eyes hurt. But it's useful for repurposing content, because that's the biggest tip I've ever taken upon myself to ensure I do constantly, is to repurpose what you have. So once you have that bank, so you've taken your photos, you've done little videos here and there, it could just be you applying the product if you have like makeup or skincare. then find a way to reuse that. So if you've done it as a like live, you could go back and screen record bits of it so that you can then use it as a reel, or then take photos. It's very hard to get a good photo from a live, but you might be able to then use it for like photos where you like holding the product or something like that. And then with the grid, when you're taking a photo, you can then use it to position better for Instagram and then different for Facebook, because the sizing of the image is different. But yeah, with the lives, so the main reason why lives are good for there and then, building that audience there and building that relationship. So you can talk to people with the comments if it comes through. But that thing was sort of like a there and then moment. You can't just save it. However, you can screen record it. So use the screen record feature to get it back. So you can reuse what you've talked about, maybe on TikTok or YouTube or somewhere else.
Yeah, I found a great app called the Friendly app, which means you can download lives and videos.
I found when I did that, the voice, like the sound and the lips was out of sync, and it just really bothered me. So
Oh, not noticed that.
I just screen record set apart, because I make a note of when I've spoken roughly about something. I don't want to watch my whole life because I don't enjoy watching my videos.
Who does? Not watching your videos, but watching themselves back.
Yeah. And I also will promote that I've got the video coming up, or I've done the video. And especially if it's a live, I like to promote that I've done a live, and I'll always pick some sort of funny photo, like funny, like still that it's done. It's usually just the still frame that Facebook does. Like, why do they pick the worst one? Like,
they always do it, don't they?
It's like the worst one of all time. It's always always like your mouth's open, you look confused.
Yeah, always. But when it comes to actual content for content, what sort of things should people talk about other than just, I've got this product, buy this stuff?
So buy this stuff is never really the right way to go about it. So I'm looking at what time of year is it. I do love myself a national day to help me keep aligned, but it's thinking about the seasons. What products will you be using? What products are you going to add change to the season? Share it. But not even just including products, but actually sharing advice. So when you've been doing it for a while and you've been doing your training, you start to get an obscene amount of knowledge on just things in general, not even related to a product. Share that, because firstly, it's selfish keeping in that information. Like, it is selfish to not share what you know and share the product, share the value of the opportunity. People are out there that want to know, but also it means you're going to tap into different people that want to get that information. It's providing value, a value for people to follow you, to be in your group. They don't want to just be sold to. So it's having that careful balance.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, like you said, they don't want to be sold to, but you want them to buy. So you've still got to encourage them to purchase. It's just about how you do it, isn't it?
I am on the talking to people mission, like making my friendships, meeting people. So I make sure I've started to schedule something in my group for a whole month in advance. Now I admit it sounds like a lot of work. But what I do, I schedule the photo first, the photo or the video first, and then I go back in on my laptop to type, because I type quicker on a laptop than I do on my phone. And I basically make sure it's all there throughout the month of at least one post. And then that way I can then add to it when I have that time. So I'll spend an hour or 2 hours, because I've already created the content, to then put those things in. And then when I have that time, like especially if I'm traveling a lot for work, I can then like maybe when I'm waiting for the kettle to boil, just write a bit more of the post and just add to it that way.
I love that you're so disciplined with your time like that, because a lot of people will just, stand and wait for the kettle to boil. But having that 5 minutes, 2 minutes, just to do something that you've been put on a list maybe of all the little tiny jobs that you've got to do.
Yeah.
I think that is a huge tip for a lot of people. If you're short on time, use your time wisely.
Use the time and then use that time as well, maybe to look after yourself, like do
Yeah.
your set reset, because that's just as important to avoid burnout,
Yeah,
because some people
absolutely.
get burnt out.
Yeah, definitely taking time for yourself, but it can't all just be about work, and that's the importance of boundaries, taking us right back to the beginning of our
Boundaries.
conversation.
Have lots of boundaries.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, thank you so much, Jess, for coming on today. It's been
Thanks for
lovely to
having
chat
me.
to you. Will you tell everybody a top tip before you go? One thing that you think everybody in network marketing should know.
Gosh, even, oh, there's a lot of tips.
I know.
Be yourself.
Yes, good tip. Love it.
Always be yourself.
Brilliant. And where can people find you, Jess?
So I'm everywhere. I am on TikTok, I have a Facebook group, and I have YouTube, but it's easy to find me because it's just Jess Davies Beauty Corner. At Just
Brilliant.
Davies Beauty Corner. It's the same everywhere, apart from my profile.
Brilliant. Thank you. Well, we'll put the links below anyway in the show notes so people have got them. They can come and find you and get inspired by your amazing content to go out and create something unique of their own.
Of pressure. Have a little look. Have a look at the videos.
I
Thanks
love
for
it.
having me, Anna.
Thank you again. See you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.